Hello, everybody. I'm Jay Shear, and welcome to another episode of Business Minds Coffee Chat. The goal of this show is to share insights, help to lift and inspire others, and deliver relevant, meaningful, and actionable content. Today's guest is a husband, a father of four, an international best-selling author, speaker, a top 100 business coach, the CEO and co-founder of Sports One Marketing, the former CEO of the Lee Steinberg Sports and Entertainment Agency, a philanthropist, and host of the top-rated podcast, The Playbook. He became a millionaire just 9 months out of law school and a multimillionaire by the age of 32. He then lost it all, took the lessons learned, transformed himself, and earned it all back again. I'm honored to welcome the man whose mission is to empower over 1 billion people to be happy, David Meltzer.
Hey, thank you, Jay. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh my gosh, you and me both. It's great to see you, my man.
Oh, my pleasure.
So I wanted to talk about overcoming setbacks and adversity. What was the process like for you moving through the pain and breaking through stronger and even more empowered?
For me, it's been a lifetime journey of understanding no and understanding, are setbacks and, perceiving. And it started with athletics for me because that's where I was heavily set back with no talent and a lot of desire. And then it proceeded, I learned through dating the same thing. Very little gifts from God and a lot of no's again. But I joke about that, but it's so true that I've made a habit of creating and allowing negative forces in my life to push me to something better. And historically, looking at that, coming up with, a formula to feel good and to keep control of my mindset, my feelings, what I say and what I hear and what I do to effectuate, this journey. And, it's a lifetime practice to be able to perceive things in the way that you want to perceive them. And after you go through that practice, when they start manifesting themselves, what you pay attention to and give intention to, all of a sudden become the coincidences in your life, regardless of the exterior sources and opinions and judgments and conditions of others. All of a sudden it gets easier and easier and easier. And so like anyone else's lives, I've had different challenges, struggles, same as some people and many different ones, but all throughout understanding this practice of enjoying the consistent everyday, persistent without quit pursuit of my own potential.
So let's talk about mindset for a moment. When I read Connected to Goodness, you you do such an amazing job of articulating what is required in terms of mindset. And I want to get back to Connected to Goodness here in a moment, but since mindset is such a critical component in your life and in my life and other top performers, what does that look like to you, and what do you do to influence your mindset? What are you reading? What are you surrounding yourself with? Those sorts of things. If you could get a little tactical on that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a 5-step process every day to control my mindset. Number one, reminding myself what mindset is, which is I give meaning to everything I see. So we can't tell someone that's depressed and suicidal, hey, just look at the glass half full. You can't tell someone that until you teach them you are giving meaning to everything you see. And so that truly is the first idea. And so since then, what I do is a 5-step process. Number one, I take inventory of my values every day, and I'm not afraid of being a hypocrite. One of the most frustrating things is, people, especially with social media, right? You could pull up, tags from last year on me, videos of last year, and be like, dude, you're saying something completely different today. And I would say, thank you. And they're like, what do you mean, thank you? I said, well, because that means I'm growing and accelerating. Don't judge me for when I was 22 because I had not learned the lessons and lived the life and found the light that I have today, 30 years later when I was 22. And yet people, they're so persecute, they attack you because you grew and learned. I'm so divergent. So for me, I take inventory of my personal values and allow them to change. I take inventory of my experiential values. What do I want today? Like, people that try to hold stead on their experiential values, how are you doing that today? No wonder you're anxious. There's no way you can experience the same things you thought you're going to experience 2 months ago. uh, Giving values, same thing. Receiving values, understanding they're both one, but I have separated those and I take inventory every day. The second thing, asking for help. Radical humility is my second step. Radically humble says, I'm going to ask a series of questions of everyone that I meet in person, on the phone, via email and media. How can I be of value, of service? But also show true humility by asking sponsors and power sponsors in my life for help. How do you know anyone that can help me? Or can you help me? And do you know someone that can help me? The third one's very pragmatic. It's changed my life, and a lot of people don't get it the first time I say it. I study my calendar. Studying means to me paying attention to something, giving it intention, and creating the coincidences that you want. Three things I study: what I have planned during the day, what I don't have planned during the day, the white space or blank space, and my sleep. And I do that with the lens of productivity. How much value can I provide or service? Two, accessibility. How accessible am I to others, and how am I accessing what I want? And gratitude, which always makes everything better. I'm my own chief betterment officer through the gratitude lens. The fourth thing is do it now. Doing it now keeps me present. It also sets me apart from 99% of the 99%, literally the 1% of the 1%. What is do it now? Every day when someone says, hey, can you do this, or something presents itself, I immediately say, can I do it now? Because if I can do it now, I save at least twice as much time and I'm exponentially more successful.
Mm.
If I just, and 100% of things I do now get done, and people who get stuff done are far more successful than people that don't. So I have a whole functionality of getting stuff done. Then finally, and most importantly, practicing ending fear. I started at a young age because when you make a lot of money at a very young age, your biggest enemy is your ego. It edges goodness out of your life. It will edge the gold right out of your life. It will edge the happiness right out of your life. So I started a practice of ending fear. Number one, identify what I'm afraid of. Two, go back to center. I always say, when you're afraid or an ego, your mind, body, and soul's on fire. So I knew, when you're on fire, stop, drop, and roll. So I created a stop, drop, and roll process. It's cancel, clear, connect in the book, Connected to Goodness, my first book. But those 5 things will give you the mindset and the practice of the mindset that you need in order to create acceleration and growth, be able to manifest the coincidences you want in your life.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Where, David, did that come from? What was the catalyst for that? So, starting at a young age, you graduate law school, you acquire some wealth and lost it. But where did this come from?
So I think it starts, where I was born with my mom, and the things that you kind of learn subconsciously. You're not conscious of it, but little things that my mom did, said, and taught, like waking me up at 5 a.m. every day, using Jewish guilt as a catalyst to make sure that I was doing the right things, not letting me come downstairs to eat breakfast if I had the wrong mindset. One of the things, joking around, my mom, she had these sayings. Some of them were, that led me to this evolution. One, go back upstairs. If you're not grateful, then go back upstairs till you are, right? This is at a young age. She would say, you're below the line. You are accountable for everything in your life. And I'd roll my eyes, things like that. She worked 2 jobs, packed our dinners in between the jobs, forced education on us. And I learned, a lot of different lessons by watching my mom about effort, like I call it John Asseroff, right? It rang true when I was a big law of attraction person. John Asseroff was the icon for me, with his vision board and his home from Del Mar and the movie The Secret. And he looked at me and goes, I don't even believe in the law of attraction. I said, what? He goes, yeah, I believe in the law of Goya. It's like, the law of Goya? He said, yeah, get off your ass. Uh, that that's my mom. That's my mom. You're not going to sit high on my mom's couch dreaming about what you want on some board. you're going to live by the law of Goya and have the right mindset to allow the law of attraction to fill the void that you create. So it all starts there, and then through, mistakes, and then having the perspective of learning lessons from mistakes, then seeking help. Mentorship is a big role in my life. Play as a mentor, elevating others to elevate others to elevate others. My mission in life is to elevate others to be happy, to elevate others to be happy, to elevate others, but also to ask for help. People ask me, how do you lose so much money? I lost over, on paper, $100 million in 2008. And I said, it's simple, ego. I didn't ask for help. I was Midas. I never had lost money. Everything I touched turned to gold. And so I never asked not one mentor, not one person for help. And my mom also taught me one really valuable lesson that I keep hearing right now. My mom would always say, show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Mm.
And when you define your friends as, all the people and ideas that you surround yourself with, those are my friends, whether they be historically, Napoleon Hill, or, Course in Miracles are my friends, and Wayne Dyer's my friend, and some of my actual live friends I have, Jack Canfield, Bob Proctor, Blaine Bartlett, Cynthia Kersey, Sharon Lecter, all these great minds. Those are my friends. And I am going to be with Deepak Chopra at noon today, to surround yourself with the right people, the right ideas. And every time I still call my mom and I'm like, am I surrounding myself with the right people and ideas? These are my friends, Mom. You like them?
That's incredible. Well, it certainly has been said that you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, and it is so true. So, growing up in a household with multiple siblings, did all of your siblings acquire that same type of mindset, the can-do attitude?
Yeah, it's really interesting how that evolved. All my siblings were more on the academic side and utilized what they learned for what they wanted in their lives. My brother, who's went to Harvard, biochem major, PhD in social ethics, is a rabbi. So he and I share very similar, similar experiences. And moreover, my other siblings all went to Ivy League schools, did extremely well, and they all share this drive. But I would say my brother and I, who are a year and a half apart, both he's more on the dogmatic religious side and I'm more on the spiritual side.
Mm.
But all of them are hyper successful, hyper happy, very strong in their work ethic and their mindset. We all share different specialties though.
Wonderful. So, this is a time of uncertainty and change, but it's also one of opportunity. So even in the midst of this pandemic, we're seeing the best of humanity. There's just some amazing things that we are seeing out in the community. How are you processing what's happening in the world today, and what specific tactics and actions are you
God.
taking to stay focused and keep yourself, your family, and your team inspired and motivated?
The one word comes to mind, and it's a little bit different than what most: acceleration. There's always uncertainty. There's always change. I've been joking around for years. The only people that like change are wet babies. So the word acceleration is what comes to mind. There's accelerated change, accelerated uncertainty, accelerated opportunity. And so time being an ultimate variable in which I study and utilize to my advantage. I take linear time, turn it on its axis, and try to examine what those uncertainties are, what the changes are, as well as what opportunities. So how do we turn the time axis on its vertical plane is to study history, because human nature never changes. And if we understand how time and human nature are affecting this period of acceleration as far as uncertainty, change, and of course opportunity, we can really benefit and really see a mindset of sitting in the middle of this miracle.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for that. So I wanted to really just talk about math for a moment. So I know that you love math, but I want to specifically relate it to exponential potential, performance, and results. And I consume your content, and you are just you're a solar power, a solar panel of energy. But talk about math for a moment and how you're able to exponentially grow your results.
Yeah, so I think there's three variables. One is efficiency, two, effectiveness, and three, statistical success. So if you look at things with those lenses of productivity, accessibility, and gratitude, you can double the amount of productivity that you have just because of the focus. So most people are productive 8 hours a day. I look and try to achieve 16 hours of productivity. Two, I create systems of efficiency. Time is a big mathematical advantage I have. So every day I'm looking and spending my time trying to find 4 minutes that I can save, because I know that every 4 minutes I save a day is 24 hours a year. Over 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, that's a lot of productivity. And then statistical success. Tom Bilyeu is pushing really hard right now, and so am I, about you've got to be developing your skills right now. The job market is going to be more competitive. There's going to be less jobs, a higher demand. Most people competing in the market have never competed for a job in their life. Most of the young people in technology, they've never competed. It's always been plenty of jobs. And so if you're not developing skills, acquiring the knowledge, and practicing your desire, what I mean practicing that must be what I can be attitude, you are going to be in a deficient place. So I practice still today all of the different skills and knowledge that I want. I seek advice, I seek counsel and help, so that my 16 hours a day of productivity becomes 32 with the efficiencies. With statistical success, it becomes 64 hours of productivity. I also use segmentation. One of the things about time that fools everybody is segmentation, meaning our growth is incremental. Our growth is incremental. And because the senses that we've been gifted with are very inaccurate, we don't have the senses to pick up that we're growing and accelerating at the beginning. And so what happens is when the first sign of toughness comes up, 99% of the people quit because they don't see the acceleration and growth. And they start listening to the void, shortages, and obstacles. Those are called family and friends, by the way. People who are voting for what you want. And when I tell people that, I say your friends and family laugh just as hard when I told them about you. But fair enough. Segmentation is interesting because if we can't be aware of the acceleration and the growth, when it gets tough, 99% of the people quit. And then when it gets tougher, another 99% of the 1% quit. And that leaves the 1% of the 1%, the must-be's, what they can be's, the ones that become millionaires during any time, especially during acceleration times like now. And so when you use segmentation to say, I'm going to take the smallest amount of growth that I can, a nano growth unit, right? A nano growth unit. And I'm going to segment out nano growth for myself just so I have the confidence that I'm always growing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one nano growth, turn it into 2 nanos, 4, 8, 16. Pretty soon I'm out of the nano range, right? And it might be 20 segments until you're at a million units. You start saying, wait a second, I'm growing. And then what you can do is say, the better I get through this productivity, efficiency, effectiveness, and statistical success, maybe my first nano unit took a year, but if I'm doing what Dave Meltzer is teaching me and getting better, maybe next year it'll only take me a half a year to double the nano unit. And then the next year it'll take me a quarter of the year. And then the next year it's going to take me a month. And the next year, 2 weeks. And then, right? Not year, but right down to all of a sudden, there's some serious growth going on. I did that for my own following, and I used segments of 2. And I started with 1 year without any time accelerator to it, without any exponential growth. And I said, even if I don't grow, if I just get 2 people like Jay that will read my books and tell people to watch my podcast and my TV shows and all that, if I can get 2 Jays a year to tell 2 Jays a year, in 20 years, when I'm 70 years old, I'll have 2 million Jays getting me more than 2 million Jays a year, and then 4 million, and so on. That's very attainable. But most people, 99% of them are going to quit the minute it gets tough and go, you know what? It's been 3 years. I only have 16 Jays in my family. Getting me 16 Jays, I'm nowhere. No, you are more than somewhere, my friends. And that's what we can accelerate. Everything's accelerating. This is a pause, but everything's accelerating. Opportunity, change, uncertainty, education, all of the inventory, all of these things are accelerating. Take advantage of this acceleration, pick and choose what you want to accelerate, put your segmentation into place, and you will end up far ahead and catch up to those who are far ahead of you.
Whoa, man. I love that. Well, you've got me inspired.
You
And
got me
that
math.
is,
You
yeah.
started talking about math, man.
Oh, it's great, man. But that is how you're going to impact 1 billion lives or
Yeah.
more. That's how
Yeah,
you do it. That's
1,000 times 1,000. A
love it.
1,000 J's, getting me another 1,000 J's to teach another 1,000 J's, 1,000 times 1,000 is a million, million times 1,000 is a billion. I've connected the dot backwards. The greatest thing is when people hear me and I ask them that cool question, because you sound like a crazy freak when you tell people, hey, what's your life's mission? Oh, I just want to create a collective consciousness of happiness. I want to empower over 1 billion people on earth to be happy. They're like, Dave Meltzer has lost his mind. And then I go through the math, right? And people who watch my content, read my books, see the podcast, come to my free trainings on Friday, do all this stuff I tell them. And I'm like, hey, after learning what I'm doing, do you think in my lifetime, in the next 60 years, that I can find 1,000 J's? If I can, you think I can, that would find another 1,000 to find another 1,000? Because that's 1 billion people. Do you think I can do that? Almost everyone, except for people that hate me, which is fine. They're the best viewers. They create more energy towards me. So, Donald Trump has proven that. Howard Stern has proven it. So I invite trolls. I invite haters. That gives energy to me. But literally, think about it. None of them say I can't do it. And I would ask anyone listening to this interview how I think and what I do. If you don't think it's possible that I can convince and empower 1,000 people to empower 1,000 people to empower 1,000 people, please tell me why, where, and what I need to do and what I have to learn in order to do so. But if you do believe, then come join me and help me, because if we can create a collective consciousness of happiness, a world of abundance, of more than enough of everything for everyone, boom, I'm telling you, who cares about the COVID, bro? Happiness, it is the virus that is shared by witnessing. It strengthens your immune system. I am not afraid of disease. I'm no Wim Hof. Don't put me that far. I'm not gonna let you inject the shit into me. But honestly, I'm not afraid of it, because my happiness, it will eat up the virus. My immune system is so strong because I am at an elevated vibration, a frequency of happiness, and sharing it with others. It just strengthens my force field.
Powerful, man. God, I love that. Thank you so much. So with that said, on a scale of 0 to 100, with 100 being fully realized potential, where is David Meltzer today?
I love that question. So I always tell people, I don't know if I'm at 1%, 10%, or 99%. All I know is I have room to grow. I have absolute room to grow in my life. So it's, to me, irrelevant whether I'm at 1%, 10%, or 99% of the way there. I do know one thing. I'm a lot farther than I was yesterday, and I'll be farther tomorrow. I enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential. And I know if I ever should reach it, I probably won't want to be here. I'll be out in some other plane.
That's a great answer. I appreciate that. So what is the best way for others to connect with you, where they can buy your books, where they can consume your content? Because you are prolific, man. You are out there. But tell us the best place to look.
Everybody can reach me at David Meltzer, David. My website is dmeltzer, but Dave Meltzer is the wrestling guy. People get us, because I'm a sports guy, confused, but it's David Meltzer. Also, join my text community. I do free trainings every Friday. We'll do them. It's 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Text me at 949-298-2905. Just to keep up to date of all the trainings and everything I do for free, books for free, training for free, lives for free. Jay, this has been a pleasure. Thank you for being one of my 1,000.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much. You're a blessed man, and I appreciate all you do. And we will catch up with you soon. And for the rest of you, thank you for watching. If you found value in this episode, please like and share with others. And until next time, stay healthy and optimistic. And remember that transformative change in your life and business begins with you, and nothing happens until you take action. Take care. We'll see you next time on Business Minds Coffee Chat.